Is this the end of resale condos in Singapore? With all the buzz surrounding new launches, are older properties losing their appeal? But what does the data really say? Let's take a look at the numbers before we write off the resale market. The truth might surprise you. You have seen the headlines like this: June resale condo volumes plummeted by 29.9%. It caught my attention and it made me want to learn more. I mean, are resale condos really about to end at this point? Or are both sellers and buyers missing out on something here? Now, this headline may have given you a pause if you own a resale condo. I get it. We don't often witness a decrease in transaction volumes of almost 30%. You ask, is this the beginning of a long downward trend, or is the value of my property going to decline? Now, trust me, you will want to stay tuned as I will be unveiling something truly remarkable. With the help of an advanced research tool we've created, we can examine the data and trends influencing condo resale. Now, what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for resale condos, or just a temporary dip? While others are hesitating, are you planning to sell or are you considering buying now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, we're going to put what I'd like to call the REI method into practice to make sure we have a deeper and clearer understanding of the subject. We can effectively analyze the major problems and make sense of the resale condo market with the aid of this method. In order to achieve this, we'll divide today's video into 3 in-depth parts, each of which will focus on the distinctive difference and angle of the topic and give you a comprehensive understanding of the subject. Talk about the latest development in the resale condo market, such as the sharp decline in resale volumes, and study the contributing costs such as the growing interest rates, government cooling measures, competition from new products, and shifting consumer preferences. This helps put people's concern about the future of resale condos in context. Number 2, dive into the long-term potential of resale condominiums in key areas, particularly in mature estates. Mention possible declines in property value, but also point out how resale condos may remain appealing to some buyers due to their location, amenities, and larger unit size, particularly for those who value space and established communities over new constructions. Number 3, identify the possible avenues of growth in this slowing market for both sellers and buyers. Let's discuss about the techniques with sellers to enhance the appeal of their properties, like setting reasonable prices and emphasizing special aspects. For buyers, examine how opportunities to enter into desirable locations that may have previously been out of reach or negotiate better deals could be created by motivating sellers with less competition. Hey, this is Coach Edmund Tan, your Singapore Real Estate Insider. Before we dive in, remember to hit the bell icon and subscribe before we get started. Every week, you'll receive insightful updates that will help you stay current with market trends and expand your property knowledge. Now, remember that these drops are merely data points. They usually overlook important details from the story. Although attention-grabbing headlines like resale condo volumes plummeted can draw attention, they can also be a little bit deceptive if you don't dig deeper into the explanations for the data. Many analysts are quick to point fingers at BTO launches in popular neighborhoods like Holland Village, claiming that they are diverting buyers' attention from the resale market. But I believe that the numbers we are seeing may not be primarily driven by that. Sure, some demographics find that these BTO projects are attractive, but do they actually have a significant effect on the volume of resale condos? Not so sure about that. Well, I don't think it's a big surprise that volumes are declining, and I'll explain why. Many of the people purchasing resale condos are looking for larger apartments, particularly 3-bedroom condos, which typically cost around $2 million. These purchases frequently already earn more than the minimum amount required to qualify for a BTO. It's not as though they have to decide between a resale condo and a BTO. They belong in an entirely different class. Not so much BTO competition as it is something more basic: buyer hesitancy, which is, in my opinion, what is really causing this decline in resale transactions. How come the hesitation is there? They may have something to do with the sharp price increase we've seen in the last 12 months. For many buyers, there is a pause when property prices begin to slowly increase, even by a small percentage point. Considering the uncertainty surrounding the economy and the prospect of rising interest rates, they begin to wonder if this is the right time to take action. And let's not forget, buyers of resale condos are frequently more calculated and cautious. Rather than being first-time home buyers eager to get a roof over their head, these buyers are seasoned buyers who may be upgrading from their first home or seeking a long-term investment. They compare options, do the math, and take into account the impact of rising interest rates on their mortgages as well. As a result, when prices rise, they are more likely to take a step back, reevaluate, and patiently wait their time. With all that being said, let's jump straight into key points and break down these figures. According to flash data from SRX and 99.co, reselling condo volume saw a sharp decline in June, falling by a striking 29.9% month-over-month. To put things in perspective, we only witnessed 809 transactions in June as opposed to 1,153 in May. That's a pretty drastic fall in activity. And that's not all. Compared to the same period last year, resale volumes decreased by 5.2%. So if you're a condo owner watching this, you might be thinking, wow, this doesn't sound good at all. But here's where it gets really interesting. When we dig a little bit deeper, we find that the OCR, with a drop in transactions of 37.5%, saw the largest decline. Yes, the OCR has decreased by nearly 40%. With a decline of this magnitude, you would think that the market will be in for a full panic mode. Let's hold on for a second first. Now let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. June has consistently been a slower month for condo sales over the past 10 years. On the other hand, May usually sees a spike in activity, mostly due to developers timing the launch of their projects around that time, increasing the number of new and resale transactions. Let's go back to 2014, the year the cooling measures for the total debt servicing ratio (TDSR) were put into place. Only 407 resale transactions were recorded that June. By 2015, the figure had increased to 543. In June 2017, we had 1,118 transactions. As such, this demonstrates the market's prosperity in bouncing back and expand over time. An average of 804 resale transactions have been recorded in June over the previous 11 years, based on data average. So the 844 units sold in June this year represents a 4.9% increase over the 11-year average, which is a good indicator, right? But here's the twist. Even with that increase, this year saw the sharpest month-over-month decline in transactions, a 36% drop. In the past 11 years, that is the largest drop that we have witnessed. Therefore, even though the market isn't collapsing, this decline is unquestionable, something to be aware of. By June 2024, there was only a 38% price difference between new launch and resale condos, as opposed to last year when there was a whopping 64% difference. Choosing a resale condo back then was an obvious choice because you would have received a substantial discount over a new launch. However, given the state of the market, purchasing a new launch unit with all warranties and the newest amenities is now a much more appealing option if buyers are willing to pay a little bit more. Now, think about it. New launch condos have contemporarily designed, state-of-the-art amenities, and frequently great locations as well. In addition, knowing that everything is brand new, right out of the box, gives you a peace of mind that comes with warranties. Therefore, many buyers are persuaded to choose the new launch options when the price difference isn't that great, leaving resale condos behind. But that's not all. This trend isn't limited to the market as a whole. It also presents in a particular area such as the OCR. When comparing properties in OCR to those in RCR, buyers' perception have clearly changed. The OCR has always been thought of as a much more economical, further out from the city and offering excellent value. The difference in price between condos in OCR and RCR, however, has been closing. The difference is now only 22.8% in 2024 as opposed to 28.5% in 2020. For buyers, what does this mean? Well, the RCR property becomes more appealing when the price differential between OCR and R1 located nearer to the city gets smaller. Why wouldn't it? Buyers can relocate closer to the city for a little more, which will reduce commute times and give them access to all the amenities that come with living in a more convenient area. The decrease in the volume of resale condos in these areas is partially due to this shift in buyers' perception, which is drawing demand away from OCR. Now, what would you do as a seller? Here's the thing, don't panic. I completely understand that there is a lot of anxiety surrounding the real estate market at the moment because prices are high, the outlook is uncertain, and there may be a strong temptation to sell and hold up. But let's analyze it down before making any snappy decisions. Maybe you have owned your property since COVID and have witnessed a notable increase in its value. If its value increased from 1.2 to 1.6 million, that will be a significant gain. The thought of cashing out can be highly tempting with those kinds of returns. But let me tell you, it might not be the best idea to sell, just to wait and see and remain on the sidelines. Why? Because standing still can actually mean going backwards in the dynamic market of property. So what's your end game? Now, selling might make sense if you have a clear upgrade plan in mind. Maybe you're eyeing a bigger house or a bigger and better location. However, if you're considering selling without a strategy in order to hold onto cash and wait, you might lose out on some great opportunities. Let's say that you're thinking about upgrading. It has increased to 1.6 million in value for your property. Using that appreciation, you might think about purchasing a 2.2 million house. Your new home may offer you greater room, improved amenities, or a more convenient location. Plus, if you make the correct upgrade, you might eventually see future capital growth. But what if your views are more traditional? You would rather keep your liquidity at a specific level, or you don't want to commit to a larger mortgage? Taking a portion of those profits and carefully reinvesting them is one strategy. Here's a popular split. Divide your funds among two properties. One could be purchased in your name and the other in your spouse's name. You can enhance your rental income streams and diversify your portfolio in this way. What makes this significant? Diversification mitigates risks, and owning several rental properties can give you a reliable source of income, especially during uncertain times. In this case, long-term thinking is crucial. Like any market, the real estate market experiences cycles. It is a must that what goes up must also come down. Since it's nearly impossible to time the market perfectly, your attention should be directed towards making well-considered strategic decisions that support your financial objectives. If you're thinking about selling right now, make sure it fits in a larger plan, such as upgrading, diversifying, or reinvesting, instead of letting fear influence your choices. Consider what will benefit you in the long run. Provided you with all this right, what will you do as a buyer then? Comment below, what are some of your thoughts? First off, let's talk about the idea of the perfect deal. Sad to say, it's only a myth, guys. As we know, time is everything in real estate. Missing out on some of the greatest opportunities available could result from holding out for prices to drop even further, or for the magical property to come up at a great price. Although prices in real estate markets are subject to fluctuations, there is no assurance that the covered perfect deal will ever come to pass. Now, let's dig into the current market situation. It's likely that you've heard that fewer resale transactions are being made, and that's true. The worst part though is that although fewer deals are being made, prices haven't dropped. Actually, a lot of sellers aren't budgeting from their asking prices. Why? Because they're aware that prices are unlikely to fall as long as there is demand. If you're considering a new launch, this might be the right moment for you to take action. Developers are pricing their projects competitively, knowing that the market is slowing down. This means that if you're willing to commit, you might get more value for your money. Moreover, the new launch market may present your best chance if you can wait the usual 3 years for the project to be finished and you're not in a rush. So here's my advice for you. Don't let the fear of missing out on the perfect deal paralyze you. Real estate is a time-sensitive investment, so while caution is advisable, strategy is even more wise. The secret is to make an informed choice based on the state of the market right now, not on some idealized future. This applies to both new launches and resale. What does today's study reveal about the resale condo market? Let's break down the few findings so you can make smarter decisions. Declining volumes don't mean declining value. Even though there has been a noticeable decline in the number of condos being sold for resale, this does not always mean that the value has collapsed. Since many sellers aren't lowering their prices, the decline in transaction volume might be more indicative of market hesitation than of a long-term downturn. But differently, lower prices do not always translate into fewer sales. Resale condos still offer unique advantages. Resale condos are still competitive despite the excitement surrounding new properties, especially in established estates. These homes are a desirable alternative for purchasers who prioritize stability and space over the newest amenities because they frequently have larger unit sizes, are situated in well-established communities, and are in prime locations. Are there strategic opportunities in a slowing market? Definitely. There are special opportunities for both buyers and sellers in the current market conditions. Sellers can increase the appeal of their properties by highlighting special features and offering competitive pricing. And buyers may find that motivated sellers and less competitions open up a window for securing desirable properties in sought-after locations. Strategy Strategy and timing are crucial in a slower market. It's important to take note that the real estate is very dynamic. Whether you're a buyer considering your next move or a seller debating whether it's time to cash out. While it's simple to get caught up in the headlines, the real value lies in knowing the underlying data and trends. So think first about your long-term objective and take a step back before making any decisions. Do you want to invest in something new, diversify, or do you want to do upgrade? Make sure your plan is based on more than just the newest buzz, whatever it may be. Kindly pause and scan the QR code to get in contact with me for a thorough assessment that will help you make wise property decisions. So before we wrap up, remember to click the bell button and hit the subscribe button to receive insightful weekly updates to help you stay current with today's market and expand your property knowledge. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.